Okay, so every 3 years I do this rebirth ceremony where I shave off all of my hair. And, my upcoming rebirth ceremony is going to be August 8th. And thematically, this year's rebirth ceremony is on the journey of humanity. And it's going to be a dance ceremony. And so there are going to be basically 4 or 5 different dances, and with them there'll be associated songs. So the first song is on humanity in the early sort of primal days when they're connected umbilically to Mother Earth. The second song is humanity is still synchronized to the heartbeat of Mother Earth, but they're beginning to develop their individuality. And so for this song, when I was searching for it, I wanted the themes of being connected to Mother Earth, or just my mother. I wanted connections to my heritage, but I also wanted symbolic connections to life and death and the cycles of energy. And so today my mom is going to talk about the song that she sang for this second part of my ceremony. The actual video for the dance portion of it will be a different video. This is her interpretation of what this song means. Okay, so Ma, what is the name of this song and where do you find it?
Okay, the name of the shlok I'm going to sing is Rudrashtakam, and it's coming from this book called Ram Charit Manas. And this is a very famous, and I think probably each Indian household has this, and this has a very significant meaning to our own family.
Yeah, and so the story, Ramayrn, is what, about a king that's been exiled, or can you give like a quick summary?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very superficial way of looking at it. The deeper thing is that a stepmother tells Ram to go to a forest when he was about to become a king, and for 14 years. And how he accepts that destiny. He does not fight, he does not hate her, he does not become angry. He just accepts it and goes there and does whatever he needs to do to the best of his ability.
And this sort of reminds me of what Nani ji, my grandmother, used to say a lot. So, Jai Vidhi, can you say that?
Jahi vidhi rakhe Ram, tahi vidhi rahiye.
Yeah, and so what does that sort of mean?
Means the way I don't know how to translate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so let me say my interpretation.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I mean, I think the way that she would tell me is that like there are things in life that happen to you that you have no control over.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you just passively accept it, but what it means is that you build your destiny upon these things that you cannot control. There's certain things that you can do and certain things you cannot. You can focus on how to improve yourself, but not sometimes on the outcomes.
Wow, I could not have said that way.
No,
but yeah, that's exactly true.
And
that's
so
what it means.
And that's from the Ramayrn, right?
That's it's
referencing.
The same. It's
Okay.
Referencing.
Cool.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Okay, cool. So what you're going to be, the shlok you're going to be going over is some small subsection of the Ramayrn, and it's very ancient too. So yeah, what can you describe a little bit of the setting of like when it's happening?
Yeah, in this Ramayrn, there are so many people telling and retelling the same story, and the reason behind it that when people get entangled in Maya, when they are confused, when they are very unhappy, then they go to a learned person and to clarify their delusion, to have a deeper meaning, deeper understanding of life. So one of the stories where this is coming from is there are 2 birds. And then one of them is called Kagbhushundi, is a very famous, actually is an intelligent bird. But then the other one, also Vishnuji's Vahan, he's also Garun. They both then Garun goes to Kagbhushundi to clarify his confusion, whatever it was there. I don't want to go into that.
So, and just to interrupt you just a little bit, so the Maya is a really interesting concept, the idea that, in a way this is a world of illusions, and you had told me before, so this is a conversation between 2 of these birds who have like the ability to talk and stuff like that. And one of them, what was the word, Brahmit? Or one of them is...
Brahm, Maya. Huh?
And so basically tangled up in illusion or something. And this bird, he is going to the other one to learn maybe how to untangle himself from the attachments and entanglements of the material world, I guess.
Very true. Very
Okay,
true.
cool.
Yeah, so then this learned word, Kagbhushan, is telling him his life story, that how he got cursed because he was very arrogant, he was insulting people. So then...
And he was a human before he got
he was
cursed.
human before, yeah. So then he had a guru. So and then the guru, he was insulting his guru. So then when he get cursed, then guru was very compassionate person. So he creates this piece to praise the Shiva, to not curse his student. That's what this piece is about, praising the Shiva.
And initially when you had told me, and so I guess I should also say, so historically in our family, how many people have read this?
Yeah, I'm the, at least I know for 4 generations, it might be even before, because my mother's grandfather, he used to, and this is the tune, this is how he was singing, reciting this piece. And then my grandmother, meaning my mother's mother, she learned it. And then from her, and my mother learned it. And from her, I learned it. And my aunt's whole family sings the same way.
That's something I found fascinating, because when I went on the internet to listen to other renditions, everyone had their own different way of singing it, their own tune.
Yeah.
And so it may be other people sing it this way.
Yeah.
But what's cool is that it sort of is part of our family identity, because at least everyone within your family and your cousins, they all have like the same tune.
Same tune.
And that feeling of identity was, again, thematically really relevant for this song that we were going to do. Okay. So
one more thing, I think back then when my mom was growing up, she tells me that there was no entertainment, TVs or anything else. So they would sit at night, and my grandmother would have some diya, and she would read, because there was no electricity, she would read this as their bedtime story before they went to bed.
Yeah, and initially when I was selecting the song, you told me this was like a shlok to praise Shiva, and initially I was a little bit bummed, just because like I wanted something symbolically very deep, and like a praising shlok didn't seem, I don't know, that cool. But how did you reassure me? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. Because there are symbolic, there is deeper meaning to everything, and the ones I will describe when I'm reading this, I will pick those one which is relevant to your thinking and relevant.
Yeah,
and it is all in there. I'm not making it up, but I will not explain whole thing. It will take forever.
Yeah, so, and just as like a very rough overview, which you'll go into greater detail. So Shiv is this god over here, and are there any like general, like, I don't know, information you can give? Beyond that, so maybe he's like part of a trio in a sense.
Yeah.
And he in one way represents like dance and yoga and meditation
and language. Yeah.
And also the cycles of energy, because he's part of like for lack of a better word, part of the destruction portion. Like there's creation and then there's death. And this is inherent parts of the cycles of energy.
Yes.
Okay, really cool. Yeah. So I guess those were all the introductory stuff. Do you want to sing it and then give us your translation?
Yeah.
Nice.
Definitely. Namami Shamishan Nirvana Rupam Vibhum Vyapakam Brahma Veda Swarupam. I am bowing to the... You want me to do it? Okay. To him who is in everywhere and in everyone and in everything. So he's everywhere basically. And then he's always in meditative state and beyond the thoughts. So I think like we are troubled by our distracting thoughts, but he's beyond that. Nirvikalpam Niriham. Nirakaram Omkaramulam Turiyam Giragya formless. You cannot describe him by the knowledge or by the word. Because it's formless.
And what's really interesting here is that I think like a lot of people think Hinduism is a very polytheistic religion, which in a way it is, but it also has this very strong and compelling monotheistic viewpoint that everything essentially is just energy, formless, without any, all of these like, smaller, all these other gods are maybe representations of that one energy. And what's really also interesting is as I talked to Naniji, my grandmother, initially she was really into puja, which is like you have these images or statues of gods and you do stuff. But as she really went into like the final stage of aging, she's become a lot more abstract. And I asked her, well, what does God look like? And she's like, it's formless. All of these things are just ways to focus your mind. But at the end of the day, it's just this one spiritual river.
Right.
And so that's kind of profound and deep, that it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Cool.
And in everyone. That's why I see Indians worship trees, water, river, and even patthar, they make a god and something like that. So you see God in everywhere. Karalam Mahakal Kalam Kripalam Gunagar Sansar Param Natoham. He's fierce, but he's also very compassionate. So like fierce comes in those sense because he's the god of even death. You can call him a cycle of energy in a different way. But then he's also very compassionate. Tusharadri Sankash Gauram Gambhiram Manobhut Koti Prabhashri Shariram Sfurat Molikallolini Charu Ganga Lasad Bhal Balindu Kanthe Bhujanga. He has the Ganga river coming out of his head, and this is the moon, which is the symbolizing that his head is always cool and calm. Even then he has the snake, which is not accepted by anyone in this world because they are poisonous. He carries the snake, and I will talk about this later. But he has all those things there, but his mind is peaceful all the time.
And I don't know if this is, I think I remember Naniji saying that the snake that's around the throat represents the idea that, because it could strike you and kill you at any moment. And so maybe the impermanence of life is that...
I was not, that's true. That is also another one. I was thinking that he accepts those who are rejected in the society. They are hated. Not even one person you'll find that who would want a snake.
Yeah.
But then he not only accepts it, he honors it to wear it as his. So I was looking, but you're right. It could bite any time and then kill you.
And then the second relevant thematic idea here, as you said, is that like, no matter how turbulent or tumultuous the world goes around him, he's able to maintain this meditative balance.
Right.
And inherently that's what dance is. It's maintaining balance, whether it's at a spiritual level or at a physical level. Okay, cool.
Chalat kundalam bhru sunetram vishalam prasannanam Neelakantham Dayalam. He has, out of compassion, when there was ocean churning, the poison came out, no one wanted it. So to protect the humanity, he took the poison and he held it here on his neck. That's why it became totally blue.
So this was like when a flood was coming, or like...
No, it's the.
Just people
it's a big story.
Okay, people are trying to extract like some like ambrosia or something.
Yeah, they were looking for. They wanted all to become immortal. That nobody wanted to die. So somebody told them in the ocean, if you churn that. So it's like we churn our mind to find a good thoughts, good creative things. So it's symbolic. So they were churning to find the ambrosia, but there many things came and everybody wanted that, and they divided among themselves. He is just standing there, and then when the poison came, everybody ran away. But then somebody needed to accept it in order to save the whole world. So he's the one who came that I will take it, and he drank it, and he held it here so that his body is protected. But the poison is only here, and this picture does not show, but a lot of pictures you only see this totally blue, and everything else has a different color.
And maybe one interpretation of this is that like a lot of the trauma and negativity that we deal with in life is nevertheless like something that we could use to grow, or add depth to who we are.
Yeah, definitely.
To our meditative practice. Sorry, go ahead.
Mrigadhish charmambaram mondamalam priyam shankaram sarvanatham bhajami. He also wears the mundamala. It's not showing on this one, but he mostly lives in the shmashan ko kya kahenge English mein? Where people's body is being burned. So in order to develop the concept of impermanence and detachment, he a lot of time goes there and stays there and smears his body with the ashes from the pyre. And then whatever the head is the last to burn, so whatever remaining is, he wears it to remind him all the time to not get entangled in this.
He wears a necklace of heads.
Remaining from the dead people.
From the dead to symbolically represent detachment and impermanence. Yeah, it's deep. Okay.
Yeah. Prachandam prakrishtam pragalbham paresham akhandam ajam bhanukote prakasham trayah shula nirmulanam shula Bani bhajeham bhavani patim bhavagamya kalatit kalyan kalpantakari sada sajjanananda purari. This one is basically just praising him to please him to forgive his student. Chidananda sandoha moha pahari prasida prabhu manmathari. He has controlled the Cupid or sexual desire or other kind of desires. He's the winner of that. Manmathari means that. And then the person is saying that he also helps us to remove the confusion and Brahm and Maya from our own minds.
So there's, so you're saying that like a lot of things like, sexual lust, but there are all sorts of different types of lust and attachments in life he's able to detach from.
Yes.
Is that what? Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
And then he also blesses people for that. So, Nayavad Uma वानराणां न तावत् सुखं शान्ति सन्तापनाशम् प्रसीद प्रभो सर्वभूतादिवासम्. He is, oh God, you live in everybody, so please be happy, and then bless me with the peace and happiness, and remove my sadness and my students' sadness. न जानामि योगं जपं नैव पूजां न तोऽहं सदा सर्वदा शम्भुतुभ्यं जराजन्म दुःखौ घतातप्यमाना प्रभो पाहि यापन्नमामि शम्भो प्रभो पाहि यापन्नमामि शम्भो. The last two lines means that I don't know how to please you. I don't know proper yoga or chanting or puja. I don't know all those things. But I still want to go beyond the old age, rebirth and pain. So what it means to me that probably until we try to assimilate his qualities in our character, there is no peace, happiness, or something like that. So I mean, if we understand him, then we will not be afraid of old age, death, rebirth, and all those things. Probably that's what it means to me.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Mother. This is really awesome.
You're welcome.
All right.